Okay, guys. Oh my God. I think I figured it out. I don't know for sure. Can anybody see me or hear me or any of that good stuff? Because put it in the chat here. I don't know what I did, but I talked for like 45 minutes and I wasn't there. And now my hair is flatter than it ever was. Whatever. But so I'm not sure. I don't have a title to this video because I tried to do it again, and apparently now I might be live. Can you guys reply in chat if you're looking at me? And I am really a technical airhead. I ruin anything technical that's put in front of me, but I thought I read up on how to do it. Apparently I didn't, because I talked for 45 minutes, and it was a good talk with myself. Next time, well, not next time, I'm going to go on a couple of additional times before my friend David Smith joins me. He is one of my best friends, and he's the one who actually told me to look into the Watts case. And I want to say it was October of 2018, shortly after this all happened, but not yet at the sentencing or at the plea deal or whatever you want to call it. So I looked into it and I became, shocked and horrified. And I also became very interested in trying to piece it all together and make some sense of it. And I knew I wanted to write about it because as a writer, if something disturbs you or, pretty much brings you to your knees like that, you're going to want to write about it. That's what I do. And that's how I wanted to address the issue. Initially, I wanted to write a nonfiction book where I talked to some of the people who were involved in their lives, like friends and family members and even acquaintances at work, and maybe put their true stories about the murders in a book. But Lena and Sherilyn both announced that they were writing a nonfiction book each. And I assumed that there's no way that I'm going to be able to compete with what they have. And I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. I didn't want anyone to think that, I was trying to butt my way into something that I really didn't have the material that they had for. So I decided to do it as a fictional book, and No Inclination is the result. I used a term that Chris Watts used when he was talking to the video cameras, the news people who were out in front of his house, and he used the term incorrectly, and it just stuck with me. So I titled the book No Inclination. And the reason for the fact that I did it as a fiction, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I talked for 45 minutes and no one heard me. But as a fictional book, I was able to get into the mind of the killer, which was horrible. I didn't want to be there, but I had to be there. I present it from several different points of view, including the oldest daughter. Her name is Kenzie in my book, but of course she represents little Bella. And she is the star of my book. Her parts are all in first person. So little Kenzie will say, I felt this and I experienced that and I said this. Whereas the rest of my characters are seen from a third person point of view where, it'll say she did this or he did that, or he thought this or he thought that. And I wanted to clear up a few things about my book that I've been hearing rumblings. I can't please everyone. Most of the time I don't please, a whole bunch of people. But people have been wondering why in the world that I would make it from everyone's perspectives. Well, I wanted to give the victims a voice, and I wanted to get in the head of the killer so that I could try to get some understanding as to why, as to what in the world happened. And I don't know if I actually attained that goal, but I did give scenarios where you could see how his thought process, as horrible and skewed as it was, could possibly lead to this kind of a conclusion. And again, my little Kenzie is the star of the book. It's her book. It was for her. And she gets the last word, thank goodness. And I present the ending of No Inclination so that it is uplifting and it gives a little bit of hope to people who were affected by this. And I was affected and I didn't know the family. I was deeply affected. I literally cry when I read my own book because I felt like I really, got into them somehow. And I think if you haven't read it already, I was going to provide the link below. Maybe I can edit that and add the link because I had it when I had my other video that didn't exist. I don't know why. I don't know what I did, but I'll break a car. I'll get in the car and it won't work. So I'm terrible with technology. Oh, someone's saying hello. I don't know what they're talking on. Eye opener. Oh, one eye open. Oh, okay, awesome. You're here. I can't read without my glasses, but I put them on. I noticed that there's a horrible reflection coming from my laptop. And it looks like, I've got these great big, white or blue squares in my eyes. There's probably a way to fix that, but I have no idea how to do anything. So yeah, now what I'm doing right now is I'm working with Cher Sprossen, rather, sorry, I slaughtered your name, and Rhonda Glover. Rhonda Glover is a woman who was convicted in the early 2000s of killing her ex. And her ex was a very wealthy oil tycoon. She did kill her ex. She did do that, but it was completely in self-defense. I always compare her to Shannon Watts. The man came home and he went crazy and tried to strangle her. And thankfully, she had her gun with her. Recently, she had been learning to use guns because she did fear for her life and for the life of her 9-year-old son. Because this man, Jimmy Joseph is his name, he was very temperamental. He was explosive. He had tried on more than one occasion to hurt her. He emotionally and physically abused their little boy and Rhonda as well. And she was literally lucky enough to have that gun with her when he attacked her at her home. So I always compare her to Shanann, that if Shanann had a gun on her, we'd be telling a very different Watts family murder story. And so we're working on the book. We're calling it Fractured Beauty. And the three of us are working together, and we all have to approve of every word that is written and make sure it goes smoothly. And I think it's a very worthy cause. And I'm so happy and honored that Cher pulled me into this. She's the honorary or the surrogate daughter of Rhonda Glover, and they're such sweet ladies. And I'm so glad I'm part of this upcoming book. Again, we're going to title it something like Fractured Beauty. That's our working title. And that might change, but I'm not sure. And so that's my new project. And I'm very grateful to be a part of something so important as to talk about a woman who was unjustly, in my opinion, locked away for doing what we wish Shannon Watts would have done. Going back to the Watts discussion, I have a very unpopular opinion that Nicole Kessinger had nothing whatsoever to do with the murders. And I believe she didn't know about it. I don't see a woman, and I know people get mad at me for every little thing. They've gotten mad at me for, doing certain YouTube channels. And everyone on YouTube has been so nice to me, and they're all great people. I mean, I've done True Crime in Colorado. I've done J is for Justice. I've done Armchair Detective a couple of times. I've done Miss Murder a few times and Team Phoenix. And I am a very cheap date. I will go wherever, I'm wanted, and I will talk your ear off as I'm doing right now. But to actually get mad at me for associating with certain YouTube creators is so silly. Oh my gosh. They're human beings, and all they want is justice for this murdered family. No one is trying to hurt anyone. I understand that the Rusek family has been upset with one line of thought that Nicole Kessinger was involved in the murders, and they're calling it a conspiracy theory. And my heart breaks for the Ruseks and for the Watts. I mean, I can't imagine, how they feel. And especially if they hear about the death of their relatives almost every day on social media. I do understand that issue. And Frank Rusek did say that he knows a lot of information that we don't have. And I believe that. And if he's saying that he has information we don't have and that they do not believe that NK is guilty, then I would pretty much believe that. I'm certain that the law enforcement, as well as the CBI and the FBI, investigated Miss Kessinger, through the roof. They would definitely do that, assuming that he might have had an accomplice, and she would be the only person who he would align himself with. And I don't think she did it. I don't think she knew anything about it. I know Alan over on Armchair Detective did show some pretty compelling video evidence. He had taken still shots of the video of what I believe is only Chris Watts walking out of the garage that horrible morning. And there are some stills that look as if it could be a woman. And when I was talking to Alan, I conceded to that fact that does look very compelling, but logic takes me away from that conclusion. I don't believe that NK had anything to do with the murders, and I don't believe she knew about it either. I mean, even if she was completely obsessed with this man, and you're right, women, whoever you are who disagree with me, women have been so obsessed with men that they kill for them, but I truly don't believe she knew them longer than a month. Why in the world she Googled Chris Watts or Shannon Watts the previous year? I'm still going with the theory that was a typo. And if it wasn't, that makes it so bizarre. And it's difficult to say she didn't, stalk this man. I do believe NK stalked the family. I think she stalked Shanann, especially. And on the morning of the murders, when her phone pinged right there in Frederick, I honestly think that she had been stalking the family, and she suspected something was up, probably the night before, maybe from a conversation she had with Chris, when he was planning what he was going to do. Not that she had any knowledge of those details. However, I think that perhaps she became very suspicious, and she had a habit of stalking the family. So perhaps on the morning of August 13th, she drove by at 6:30 in the morning, expecting to see, Shanann packing up the little girls and, taking them off to daycare, or at least see some evidence of Shanann going about her daily business. And she was, NK was curious, and she was nosy, and she probably did stalk them. I have no doubt that she did. And unfortunately, it was the morning of the murders that she got the ping on her phone at 6:30 in the morning. It's important to remember, though, that Chris was already out at the oil site at Survey 319, and he was probably pretty much done with the terrible deeds he had to do out there when she drove by the house, when she was in the vicinity. And I don't think she was in the home. What I do believe, though, is that law enforcement thoroughly investigated her alibi for the day, which would be that she was at work, right where she needed to be. And just because you arrest one killer, if you suspect accomplices, you don't end the investigation on those suspected accomplices. As I mentioned in my video that disappeared into thin air, look at the Menendez brothers. They're not going to arrest one of them, even if he confesses and says, "Oh, I did it all alone." They're going to investigate the other guy. It just doesn't happen that way. And if Frank Rusek, again, says that he knows more than we know, which I'm certain he does, and that NK is not responsible in any way, then I believe him. There's certainly no reason to not believe him. And the fact that the Rusek family wants this, to end the investigation into Nicole Kessinger, it speaks volumes. I think they do know, in fact, a whole lot more than we do. And I think that, in a lot of ways, yeah, I don't know if we should stop searching for clues about Nicole Kessinger, because there is that shred of possibility that she was involved. I do not believe she was. I'm almost 95% positive that she was not involved in any way, shape, or form. That doesn't mean she's a likable person. That doesn't mean we have to, like her and trust her or anything like that. She has that voice, and so many people have told me my voice is so annoying that it's very similar to hers. My voice is not similar to hers, but I know my voice is terribly annoying. But NK has an annoying voice. She's not a very likable person from what I've seen. Who knows what Chris saw in her when his beautiful wife, was at home, and just such a lovely lady. I don't know what he saw in her. Maybe I really don't know, but that's not for me to decide. But NK is not a likable person, and I think a lot of people are going off of that instinct that they don't like her, to implicate her. And of course we would like to blame the mistress, and we'd like to say it was all her fault, because we all have husbands, most of us do, and we wouldn't want to think it was the husband alone who did this, but unfortunately I believe he did. Oh, thank you. Someone said my voice is lovely. I appreciate that. I actually, I took, when I used to do, I worked for Daily Planet Productions in Southern California, and I did the nightly business report on a news program called the Inland Empire TV News. And one of the guys who was actually doing our sports report, he trained me, it took a few days to train me how to speak. And I used to talk like Minnie Mouse. And my parents owned a preschool. And whenever I would answer the phone at the preschool, the caller would say, "Oh, honey, can I talk to one of the teachers?" It was embarrassing. So I took voice training lessons, and I ended up with somewhat of a better voice, but if I don't pay attention, it goes squeaky on me. But anyway, thank you. Roundabout way of saying thank you for your compliment. I appreciate that. I try to make my voice normal, but you'll hear me go up a few octaves every once in a while. Anyway, getting back to the Watts case. I again, I don't understand why YouTube creators and why forum owners and all these people out there who are seeking justice for these beautiful babies and their lovely mother, why they argue with each other. Everyone wants the same thing. We all want to know what really happened, and we all want to pick it apart and figure out why in the world would a seemingly normal father and husband obliterate his beautiful, beautiful family in one night. And I know that we're all, again, trying to get to the truth of the matter, no matter where that truth leads us. No, you guys shouldn't be infighting. I like everyone. I appreciate everyone having me on their shows, and I'm hoping maybe I'll get some followers here. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm, wishful thinking. But I appreciate everyone, and I don't think there should be infighting, and I don't think there should be villainizing, vilifying anyone. A lot of people have been vilified because they're seeking the truth, and I think that's a shame. And I know the Rusek family and the Watts family are just so hurt. My heart just goes out to both families, and they're definitely victims, just like, any family of the victim of a murder or any kind of a violent crime. They are victims. And I think we tend to forget that. We certainly don't want them to be, we don't want that. I wouldn't want them to be enemies with each other. I really wish they would speak to each other. But I don't know that I could. If something happened to my daughter through whoever she was married to in 10, 15 years, then I don't know if I could be friendly with his parents or, whatever. So I understand where they're coming from. But again, the Rusek family, they're beautiful people. They shouldn't be villainized, vilified. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. But, and neither should the Watts family. And that's just the truth. They need to be able to speak without people jumping all over them and saying that they're bad people or that they're causing harm. And people have problems with their in-laws all the time, and I'm sure that both families had trouble with minor trouble with Chris and Shanann. Again, my sister-in-law and I, Deanna, I love her to death, but we joke around a lot about very funny things that we do to annoy each other. And if God knows, if my brother would kill her, I would go back to those funny little annoying things and talk about it all the time, because that makes her human. So anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox for that issue, but I want everyone to get along, and it hurts my feelings. But so if you haven't read my book, I was going to put a link in the comments. Again, it was in the comments previously, and then that whole thing went away, and here I am again, without my cute little whatever I had in there. So yeah, if you want to find me on social media, I know most of you guys are just my friends on social media. Certainly do that, and you can inbox me, and I respond to everything. I love talking to especially my readers. The next show I might do it alone. I know that my dear friend Walter Newkirk has offered to come on. I don't know if I can't do the technical stuff. I'm not sure if he can either. But also my dear friend too, David Smith, again, who gotten into this whole world of the Watts madness and who is really the inspiration for the book. I actually put him in the book as the Leave Jim Alone character, and I made some suppositions about Jim, which in the book is my David, about how he might connect to my Stephanie in the book, and of course that would be NK in real life. So I explained the Jim character. In No Inclination, you'll find an explanation about the wrapped up doll. You'll find explanations about, unfortunately, I had to go through the crime the way I believe it may have happened. You'll see a lot of that. Someone is texting me. I need to get used to doing this and not looking at my text. So in the book, I tried to answer a lot of the remaining mysteries. I mean, I even go into the day after when Chris claimed that he woke up and all the lights were on. I give an explanation for that. And then that are surprising that I hope are true or possible. There's a little bit of otherworldly justice and even a little bit of otherworldly redemption for the killer in the book. Not because I think he deserves redemption, but again, it is an otherworldly thing and it only happens for a second. And what I wanted was for the book to be uplifting in the end. And I think it was. A lot of people tell me that it was uplifting and it gave some closure and that they hoped that this is the way everything happened. And it kind of wrapped things up for them as though it were nonfiction. That was my intent, to kind of answer some questions and to give my theory about the case, and on and on like that. And again, some people have gotten mad at me because I'm very kind to the mistress in the book. Her name is Stephanie, instead of Nicole. And people actually said to me that I bash or that I slam the Shanann character. Her name is Sandy in my book. And oh my gosh, that is so untrue. To tell you the truth, I modeled my Sandy more after myself than I did Shanann. And it goes into all of her insecurities, which are identical to my own. I have OCD when it comes to, cleaning my house. And right now I know that my living room is kind of cluttered. I'm looking at it behind me here. And I have insecurities about being overweight and about, a whole bunch of things that I gave to my Sandy. And if I'm bashing her, I'm bashing myself, and which I often do that self-effacing humor thing. But no, I'm not in any way bashing Shanann. She's a very human character, my Sandy. I love her. I love all my kids. Well, not Charlie. I don't love Charlie, and I don't really love Stephanie. But I made Stephanie a human being too. I didn't want to, vilify her as the real Nicole Kessinger has been vilified in real life. I show Stephanie as a very, very human person. And so is my Sandy, who would be Shanann in real life. And again, people say things, people get mad at me for the silliest stuff. And that's part of being an author. I think that authors are more accessible to the people who, the fans or whatever they are out there, than other people in the entertainment industry anywhere, really. I think that authors, we interact on social media. We're very available to anyone who wants to talk to us. At least I am. And I know a lot of people I work with, they are too. So because of that, I believe that people, they just kind of think that it's a free for all and that we could, they could say anything bad they want to about us, but that's fine. I'm used to it. A couple of years ago, I ran into a bunch of really, I don't know what you want to call them, zealous fans for Grey Gardens, for one of my last books that I wrote with lovely Lois Wright, who was in Grey Gardens. And she's a beautiful, beautiful person. We wrote her life story, but I ran into so many people who didn't like me for absolutely no reason. I had no idea why, and I'd never been through that maybe since junior high. And the same thing holds true for this book. It's controversial, and people, sometimes they don't like what I write, and that's fine too. But I wish we could all get along, especially as far as this case is concerned, because we all want that justice. And some of us don't feel it was really served. I think I know he got a huge sentence, which he'll never get out of prison. But I wonder if that was too lenient. I don't know. I I don't know, or was it too much? I mean, I don't think anything could be too much with what he has done. Um, but yeah, so I don't even know where I'm going with any of this, but so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and pop them into chat, and I'm gonna try to do this maybe a couple of times a week, and I'll make sure not to do it at like sunset because that window in my living room is like shining, making my hair look, well, my hair is weird, please. I mean, I can't, I can't even it won't hold. Look, I have very fine, very thin hair, and I remember when I was a little girl, my mom used to sit me on her lap for hours trying to detangle all of the spider webs that was in my hair because it is so fine, and I have never been able to do anything with it, no matter what the length or what color. Well, anyway, so. What was I talking about? I don't know. I go off on tangents. Oh my gosh. But yes, next time I may or may not have David Smith with me. Or if anybody who knows me on social media wants to come on my tiny little fledgling channel, I would love to have you on to talk to me about the Watts case, especially if you disagree with the NK thing. If you guys think she's guilty, please, notify me through social media, and we can, I'm totally open to anyone being on here. And again, I would love some of the YouTubers who I've, gone on their show for them to join me as well. I love everyone. They're amazing at what they do. I could never do what they do, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to, pick up my channel and do a bunch of other stuff. And again, if who's that? Oh, sorry. I need to stop looking at the screen. When I get used to this screen, it's going to be much better. But while I am completely clueless, you guys are going to have to put up with me checking emails and stuff when they come in, because that's, what I'm programmed to do. But thank you all for being here with me. I don't know how long I've been going on. But I want to continue to talk about the Watts case. If you guys want to Google me or look me up on Amazon, the title of my Chris Watts book is No Inclination. Oh, and also I wanted to mention the documentary that I recently took part in. Dan Abrams from Live PD and from ABC News, he is I believe, the executive producer. He was kind enough to invite me to take part in a documentary about the Watts murders. And so even though there was coronavirus going on, I allowed the TV crew to come in here and take video of me. And it's an 8-part series. It's called Buried with Love. And right now you can access it through Facebook Watch. It's put on by the Law and Crime Network, which is Dan Abrams, program, Dan Abrams production company. And I want to thank Alice Borelli. She was an awesome producer and, beautiful lady. And everyone who took part in that. And you can see me in the first episode. I believe they air it every Sunday. What they're doing is they're doing 8-minute segments until they get to the full documentary. Where it goes after Law and Crime, I'm not sure, but someone said ID Discovery. I can't guarantee that. I don't know. But for now, it's on Law and Crime Network on Facebook Watch. And there's going to be, oh, hi, Katie. You're so sweet. Hello. But you guys are so nice to me. I swear. But there's going to be some people who are going to hate me in the comments, and I'm looking forward to it. But do comment, because I have something in my mind I'm going to do for anyone who is subscribed to my channel and who comments. And I'll explain more about that next time. I have to check the YouTube rules, because I don't know what I can and can't do. But I'm hoping I'll have David with me. I mean, he is absolutely, one of my best friends. He's amazing. He is always there for me. And leave David alone. But he should be on this with me. I'd like to talk my husband or my daughter or her boyfriend into doing it with me. I mean, I'm simple. I don't, I don't care what I do, but especially if you guys want to pop in, I could take, 2 or 3 guests. I'd love to do that. Oh, thank you, Katie. Awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you. You're so sweet to me. She's one of my biggest readers right now. I love that. But if you stick around, I'll do more stupid stuff. That's all I can do. But I do want to get a Q&A going maybe about the Watts case. If you guys really believe that NK was involved, and I know a lot of you do, let me know and give me your theories and, pop on here and debate with me. Alan and I on Armchair Detective, we had a happy little debate. We had planned the debate, for about a week or so. And then we went on and we did the debate. And I think a lot of people thought it was an impromptu argument between Alan and his unsuspecting guest or something. But no, we had planned a friendly debate. And that's a lot of fun. I love it when people can stay civil and have different opinions and still, get along in the end, still be friends afterwards. So I welcome debate. If you guys want to pop in next time, sorry, I went away for a second. Anyway, I'm going to try to cut this now. Thank you all so much. Buried with love. That is correct. Thank you. Thank you for putting that up. Did I say something different? I probably did. I don't know what I'm saying. You have to understand, I talk on and on and on. I don't know what I'm talking about by the end of a conversation. I'm talking to someone, a friendly chat, usually in the grocery store or the post office, people I don't even know. By the end of the conversation, I have no clue why I started talking to them. I just talk forever. But thank you guys so much for being here. And I'm going to try to keep doing this, and I'm going to try to alter the description. I don't know if the other video I made but didn't make will ever pop up on YouTube, but it might. And I said pretty much exactly the same stuff I said now. I have no idea. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping Walter is out there watching, because I told him one time and it turned out an hour later. And but anyway, thank you again, everybody. And I'm going to try to exit, and I'll try to get all that fancy stuff next time that everybody else tries to, that everybody else does so well. I doubt I'll do it well, but I'm going to try. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you watching, and it's been a lot of fun. Thanks again. Bye-bye.